Hello, everybody. It's our favorite time to do It's Time with our favorite things. Lynn's ahead of me, as always, with decorations and spirit, but I'm going to catch up. I'm going to catch up this week. I did bring a little holiday joy
Holiday cheer,
to
and your
sit
front
next to.
porch is beautifully holiday decorated.
Oh, thank you. Yes, we did do the front porch. And then a little elf surprise. There's a wreath on our door when we got home. I'm not sure where it came from. I might have to ask the house sitter.
That's pretty fantastic.
How fun.
You've been very
Yeah,
good.
it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. So what's going on?
Well, we're so excited because we get to do our favorite things episode, and I cannot believe this is our second one. I mean, I know we celebrated our 1-year anniversary on October 1st, but I cannot believe it's been a year. Going to sound like grandmothers more and more that the time is going by.
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure.
But
for sure.
I love this tradition.
Okay.
We just start firing away and.
Yeah, let's jump in.
Yay. Because some of them are like, reminders of things we liked. Like the really quick one, I love that face mask. Remember I wore it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But the new news for this is that they have a neck and chest add-on.
Yes.
So I would shout out for whatever red light mask you're a fan of. It's worth kind of playing around with the extensions. And I think that the research has been getting more and more robust about how wonderful red light is just from an overall health and wellness, never mind the vanity metric, which is why I got it. But we can still meditate with it on. It's nice.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. I think we're still loving all of our wellness products, and I think there's a lot on this list. I know a couple of, like, one of my new favorites, and you might have yours sitting there. You have your Omorpho vest. I don't have mine yet.
No, but I'll go get it really fast and bring it in. Talk about it. I'll grab it.
Okay. So this is one of our favorite companies, founded by a group of individuals, like, really dedicated to helping people train at a different level, and a little bit different idea than like a true weighted ruck vest. This is actually gear to train in. And so I would say it was on the micro loading scale, now shifting to more load with their next generation vest, which Lynn's is so expertly modeling for us.
Last year when we had it, we were both like advocating for the men's version because it was heavier, right? So we were wearing the men's vest, which didn't really fit as well because it was men's, but it was 10 to 12 pounds. This is a woman's vest, so that's the outside of the back. And then these are the weights that you snap in to make it heavier on the sides or the back. So it can get up to the 12 pounds as well, or you can gear anywhere between 5 to 12.
So I think, for this, like, super cool to train in at more like the 5-pound level, super cool to like walk, do more weighted vest stuff in at the 10 to 12 pound level. So really, and I think compared to a lot of sand filled weighted vests, this one is way more comfortable. And it's a more low profile, so you can wear it more comfortably under things, which you do a lot of the time.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Especially with the female cut, it's short as well. So, it's not like hanging out with your stuff. Something that we talked about last year also, but is new news. It was Slate. So Slate I love, obviously, because it's the protein and ready to drink. It's also in a can instead of plastics. You can't get away from all microplastics, but we try when we can. But the new news here is there's a ton of different flavors. So like this is a dark chocolate. They've got caramel, and there are a ton of different sizes. 42 grams, super easy on your stomach, is a great way to get that protein macro we're always targeting. And then I drink the 32 gram right after a workout always, but the little 20 is a way to top off a meal. Like some people are like, I don't want the bulk of a huge chicken or fish or whatever. So if you got a 10 gram meal, just top it off with the 20 gram. Ways to get protein in.
Love it. Love it.
Flavors and stuff.
Fiber. Let's talk about fiber. What's your new favorite fiber? Because I feel like this is like what protein was to 2025, fiber is going to be to 2026.
I think that is right. And I have been trying a ton of these. We talked about this on one of our episodes, but like, this is old school Metamucil. Like, you see this brand, and I'm sorry, Metamucil, but I think grandparents, right? Like, what? But I have tried now probably 15 different fibers, and they're all good. But what I think people have to solve for is what doesn't make you barf, literally, just like gags, because it's gross. And Metamucil actually has a pretty good taste profile. I'm sure it's got some sweeteners in it, or which are not great, but it is a great effect and smooth taste and big fiber per scoop, which helps. Yeah. And this pouch is called Monch, and it's like something you just pop in. It doesn't have a really hard taste profile either, but you can take it on the road. You can also take it like if it's right after. For me, I drink my mochas. That's a high carb, and you take this right at the same time. It helps blunt the effect of the glucose spike And I've seen that in my metrics. So it's a fiber supplement as well. Either one, I'm sure, would do this, but the Monch, I think, is a little easier to transport. And both are just,
I love that.
Low gag effect.
Yeah. And I think, last year we really pushed our creatine, which we're still going to push. But I also think, and I don't have it for show and tell, but you have the little to go packet. And I would also say that Momentous just came out with a chew. And I think that's really, and they had designed this for a long time because what they had found is in the gummies, a lot of the bioavailability is not there. So it's really hard to get the creatine out of the gummy into your system. And so they had spent a long time trying to formulate this chew. So still portable, you're still not packing packets, easy to take, but appropriate bioavailability, et cetera. And so that just was released. So check those out if you are, especially if you're traveling a lot and the powder's just inconvenient.
Yeah. Well, also, I think, our kids are now getting the creatine message, and I don't find creatine has a taste or anything to me, but they do. Like, they're more sensitive to it.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Is a good way to do it. And then the other one with the creatine that's new news for us, I think, is this creatine with taurine added to it to help on your kind of the bloat and the gut effect. So I don't have a ton of experience with that yet, but I'm playing around with it to see if I notice a difference.
Nice. Okay. What's next on your list?
Well, I'll just finish the supplements because I've only got two. One is the spoiled child, the collagen. I know we all play around with different collagen supplements for skin and bones and things like that, hair, nails. This one I just love because it's an easy taste, super smooth, and it always comes with a little goodie like a lip gloss or something whenever they send it to me.
Love it, right? So fun.
Surprise. Love that. And then this one I talked about last year, but I wanted to make sure to bring it up again because I've got my metrics in and my bone density keeps improving, and I don't know if it's weightlifting or the vest or ALgea Cal, so I'm just saying all three. And so which
is awesome too. And I want to double down on that point. Lynn's really committed herself this past year to working on her bones. And I think it's important to say that we don't know if it was one thing or another, but this constant everyday commitment to these small changes. I mean, you did a lot of work. I don't want to minimize the work that you did, a lot of heavy lifting, a lot of that stuff. But I think it's really important to say, you can make positive gains.
Yeah. It's
with lifestyle
that I've done since last November, I do it quarterly, has had an improvement in the T-score and the Z-score, which is really cool.
And is this with or without hormones?
Hormones have been consistent. So I've been doing estrogen.
Hormones been consistent. Yep. Okay.
For 2 years now. So
years. Okay. So hormones consistent, which I think is important to say, that is hormones consistent, and then training on top of that, some supplementation on top of that, and really consistent dedication to the training.
Yes. And so on the training front, and by the way, the supplement, I will say my doctor's the one who recommended it because there's such research on it. And I've since now anecdotally run into a couple of other people who've tried it. And over the 18-month period, they have seen the same results. So that's kind of cool. But on the training front, the one thing I wanted to call out here, because I'm doing all the traveling lately, as are you, and it's hard to get the heavy lifting to work. A lot of people probably already knew about these, but I did not until recently, was wrist straps to help when you're really holding those heavy dumbbells, because especially lower body, the dumbbell is say it's a 45 or 50 pound dumbbell. It's not your legs that are giving out. For me, it was my grip, right? That was what was hard. So if you're trying to heavy lift and you're having trouble holding the dumbbells, I recommend, I love this brand, but I'm sure any brand is great. It's called Gym Reapers, and they are wrist straps. And I have to credit my brother who did a whole video tutorial of how to actually put them on correctly so they work well for you. So, they look pretty simple, but if you're not getting the effect you want, there's a little video you can get, I'll link to it, about how to actually do them in a way that helps you lift the heavy dumbbells so that it's your core muscle that's giving out and not your grip.
Yeah, good call.
Related to that is I now wear these little gloves because I have so many calluses from the weightlifting.
Yeah.
And the last one is this thing I really like called Bella Booty. Have you ever seen this guy?
No, but I was reading it on our list and I was excited. I haven't seen that yet.
Well, the thing is, especially if you're traveling and let's say you try to do something for your glutes, right? You're doing hip thrusts.
Yeah.
Super hard to get heavy weights with dumbbells at a gym. This allows you to kind of wrap it each side, the right and the left, around a dumbbell, and then it's soft and squishy so it doesn't hurt your hips. You know how your hip bones start to hurt if you put a dumbbell on them?
Yeah.
So that allows you to then do hip thrusts, things that are really heavy and help on your glutes when you're on the road. So that's some of my little travel pack are these wrist straps, weight gloves,
love it.
And booty. So that's in the
love it. Anything else we have on workouts? Excuse me.
I don't think so on workouts. Just kind of again on the protein front are these little chomps to get after the workout. Those 10.
Oh yeah, those are great.
Is I know we're not supposed to eat a bunch of processed meat, but sometimes you have to. And so this is a clean and tastes good version.
Mm-hmm.
And kid approved. My kids ate these too. Chomps.
Yes, absolutely.
10
Canyon Ranch
grams.
approved. We serve those though there
Oh,
too.
yeah, even better.
Yeah, yeah. Awesome. What do you want to go to next?
Well, I think we should go to Canyon Ranch because I think that's one of our most favorite things of this entire year and year ahead is Canyon Ranch. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. So I think, so excited. I think that it's been a fun 6 months at Canyon Ranch, making a lot of progress. Just really excited to see the health and wellness space, but especially the women's health and wellness space, like really blossom and to be a part of that. And so I think, it's funny, like how many of these favorite things I try to bring there or vice versa we've brought out, just because I think we're all saying the same thing, which I also think is really, really important. So, Canyon Ranch has been awesome. We've had Tamsin Fidel, we've had Vonda Wright. They're both coming back this spring, winter into spring. And so just doing a lot of fun stuff that I think is really engaging. And, I think that the need for this information is still it's still out there. We're still learning. We have these great groups that come in and just ask these amazing questions, and still really focused on, the things that we talk about all the time, like getting stronger and really kind of, I think it's been neat to see with like my exercise physiology team, how they're shifting their approaches to how we interact with our clientele across an age spectrum, going like, while we still know that cardiovascular fitness is so important, like that's going to keep us healthy long-term, not substituting that for strength,
right?
It's not an or, it's an and. And so I think watching that transformation and watching some, especially of our kind of older clientele, get in the gym and lift these weights and like really enjoy it and have fun with it and do it safely and see the benefits, and tell us, gosh, I feel so strong. And it's just great.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the things that you've probably just kind of gotten used to as it's part of the DNA in you and Canyon Ranch is, Canyon Ranch was a thought leader in how to get metrics in place in order to power up performance gains, in order to power up programming. And so that being in the heritage there, matched with your DNA, who's all over that, is just such a great platform. The menopause program that you've launched, there's just so many good programs. I think if people want to put together their Christmas wish list, what is going to be on mine is a trip to Canyon Ranch. Like that is on my Christmas. Santa. I'm talking to Santa right now. So
no, it's just, And to double down on that, we've talked about that for a long time. Let's just take your bone density, right? It's like, if you don't know where you're starting, you don't you're just kind of flying blind. And why, like we also talk about, it's easy to over assess, like having some baseline data and then knowing when to follow it is super important. And it helps us stay motivated. It helps us stay engaged. It actually, I think benefits our communities. It ripples out, right? If we can start to talk about this and encourage people, if you can come to Canyon Ranch, love to have you. If that's not for everyone, grab a Dexa,
Yeah.
You can do a home version of a VO2. You can do some substitutions for some of these more sophisticated assessments and still get a really good baseline and see where you are and then set some goals, which is a great time of year to start doing that too.
Yes, which we will have to get onto that on an episode too.
Yeah.
Okay, so the last thing, because we talked about red light masks, the last thing kind of related to the gadgets and toys on the skin front, I just thought I'd bring up is the Seranova. You've heard of microneedling. I think we've all maybe seen that at the facial place. But this is an at-home kit. It's super approachable from a budget perspective, but I have noticed real changes. It comes like this. It's got like a little serum, and each one is an individually packaged microneedle delivery mechanism. So you do it once every 2 weeks. And so that's one that
super cool.
One session on, and I've gotten feedback that it's, people say your skin looks great. So I'm like, I think it's this one. So that's Seranova. And then the last skin one, I want to just shout out because we love Free Loving Co. so much. We've had Dana on as well, but she's opened a retail store in Park City, but she already has the online store. But this is a kind of an overnight serum. And I just want to hold it up as an example of, she's gone out and pioneered just a number of skincare elements for a full line of clean with high efficacy results. And the packaging is clean and it's eco-friendly. So all the stuff we're all trying to do, Dana's made really easy at Free Living Co. And this overnight serum, I love it. So throw that out. Those are all my skin nutrition, workout.
Yeah. Let's talk about sleep. I still
Yes.
love to sleep. So you have a pair on our list. And then we just did another event, you know, having good pajamas. Like this is something that I took for granted probably until the last 6 months. I'd throw on whatever was in the drawer,
Yes.
from like high end, like these cotton cashmere pajamas my mom bought me a decade ago to like whatever flannels left over from, family Christmas PJs to whatever shorts are, did not think about this. And then I was given a pair of cooling pajamas. I mean, full transparency, like I don't suffer from night sweats, don't suffer, like I don't have any problems like that. But what I noticed is I was waking up more often. One of our dogs sleeps in our bed, like too. But since changing my sleepwear, I sleep so much better because I'm actually not getting hot, even though I never felt like heat was waking me up.
Yes. Yeah.
Shocking.
Yeah. I think that's so true. I had on there the silk pajamas with pockets because the silk pajamas keep me the perfect cool and hot. Like, I don't know what that is about
Right.
that material. But the pockets thing too, I love because I tend to want to hang out in my pajamas on the weekends, and having pockets helps me be able to do that, So it's the little things, the
Right.
little things you love. The other thing,
Absolutely.
which I've just discovered, is so I have this chronic neck cramp thing that I always have just been having for a couple years. And I noticed this summer when I was traveling so much, it went away. I was like, I guess it's the pillow, And I've tried all the different fancy pillows that are like side sleeper neck, whatever. And I started to pay attention at hotels which pillows were the ones I was waking up with without the cramp. And I finally found a pillow, that and a silk pillowcase, and the neck cramp is totally gone. And what was more challenging was it had gone all the way down to my shoulders, so I couldn't really even do like a lateral without hurting.
Yeah.
And the secret was the down pillow, kind of a medium fill. And when you lay down to try it in the store, to make sure that your neck is horizontal. So if anybody has any kind of neck cramps or sleeping, trying to go find those pillows, it was a little bit of an adventure, and it definitely has resulted in better sleep and better wake up.
Yeah. And what was another interesting sleep thing that was brought to my attention, that like I tend to be a stomach sleeper and was starting to have more and more low back pain.
Yes.
Or just feeling like low back stiffness. And finally, a chiropractor friend said, "Do you sleep on your stomach?" I'm like, "I do, actually." And they basically told me, like, try any sort of wedge to keep you just at a little bit of an angle and see if that helps your back, because you kind of don't overextend as much. And sure enough, like,
do you put your pillow under your belly, or what's the wedge?
So I almost do it lateral from like shoulder to hip. So like kind of like a modified body pillow. But I have noticed, and I put it in the bed, like I sleep on my stomach with my head turned one way, or I sleep on my other side, but not usually both. So I've just kind of set it in the bed that way. So if I roll over onto my stomach, it's just kind of there.
Okay.
It kind of just props me back up a little bit. Yeah. I don't know. It's super interesting. I never would have connected those dots.
Yeah. Sleep. We love it.
Love it.
What's next on your list before we go over here?
Where'd my list go? Hold on. Grabbing list. Here it is. Okay. So let's go to tech. I think this was super cool that you put this on our list. Like, AI is having another moment.
Yep.
And I think that back in that conversation of what do we embrace versus what do we try to hold off versus how do we try to use this technology responsibly?
Yes. So on the AI front, I know we did kind of a deeper dive on the episode, but I think I'm kind of landing on two core themes, and we're talking about a lot in our family, which is, obviously AI is here to stay. So you need to understand how to deploy it versus being deployed by it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Testing and learning all the different platforms, knowing they're going to consolidate, knowing some of them are duplicative, but never relying on one is sort of one of the rules of thumb. It's like there's some that are better for video, some that are better for graphics, some that are better for copy points, but there are multiple platforms for each of those use cases, so you should use them all and be testing, because the mistake rate is super high. I think one of the studies, this was Brene Brown who was talking about it, she did a deep dive in her research, and she ran two pods, like a human team on researchers and then AI team. And the AI team was 77% of the time making up resources. Like it would present it like it looked like a research report. It looked completely legitimate. And then you'd go try to find it and it wasn't there. Like it just was completely made up,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is something with
What
our family. We're talking a lot about like, hey, you need to know how to use this and then actually gut it.
Absolutely. And I think what's really interesting is what I have found is like I'll write something, put it into AI to kind of revise,
Yeah.
and then double check the references that I used versus the references it pulls. And what I've found is it sometimes was like combining references. So it would have like authors that are legit in a
Yes.
journal that's legit in a title that exists, but
But
the
not,
three aren't together.
yeah.
Like that actual complete citation doesn't exist. And so like the paper was actually there, but the paper might have had different authors or been in a different journal, or the journal might have been right, but it was referencing the wrong article in that journal. I had to go find the right one. So it was
Right.
interesting that it wasn't like, I didn't find them, and this is obviously an N of one. I didn't find them completely fabricated, but
Yeah.
I found them kind of moshed together in a way that you couldn't go back and find the citation. And so it was interesting because I had already like put the citations in once and then
Yeah.
did this. So I think that's also kind of a word of caution. Even if you think you've done your own citations, it can sometimes then, if you run it through to try to help revise language, it might revise your citations.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And I think I used this example on our episode, but it's like when you have, like if you're working with a resident, or if in my business context, I might have been working with a brand new consultant, because I knew how to do the work. I knew how to quality check that person's work.
Mm-hmm.
It's the
Mm-hmm.
same thing with AI. Like if you don't know how to do the thing you're asking the AI to do, then
Yeah.
the risk for error is huge. So, I got in and I opened up the spreadsheet like I would do with an associate consultant, and there was like no data in half the cells. And so the answer that came out of it was wrong, right? But if you don't know how to do that
Right.
actual fundamental work, then you don't know how to gut
Yeah.
check it. So that's
Yeah.
that's like the deploy, know how to use them, lots of ways to use it in your everyday life. But the second thing we're talking a lot about in our family is AI is here, and there's going to be a lot of great things, but there are a lot of like not great things that are coming, and just
Mm-hmm.
be
Mm-hmm.
ready. The job market's the one that's getting a lot of conversation right now. The use cases where in the last 6 months, the AI has preserved itself. When it's read in an email that it's about to be updated with a new version, it goes and steals its code and then blackmails the programmers. Like all of that sort of dark side is coming, and just to be in the conversation, not paranoid about it, not doomsdaying about it, but aware that it's coming. Just I think like we were 5 years ago about social media, and people didn't really want to engage until all of the research was done and all of the metrics were there, and intuitively we knew it was bad and we knew there were risks. I think that's where we are with AI. Like intuitively we know there's some scary stuff coming, and we just got to be kind of trying to be ready as best we can.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's a whole new space, right? And a whole new way of learning to interact and verify, et cetera. And yet it has some great benefits, like
Of course,
the
yeah.
efficiency, some of the amazing things you can do, but just, always have that in the back of your mind, are you using it correctly? And I think that then spills into, and we're not going to go down this tangent because this is our happy holiday list.
That's
But
right.
I think also, with how it's impacting actually social media, which I think is also concerning, that,
Yeah.
like now things really aren't real. It used to just be kind of staged, and now it's like AI generated, and you're like, what is real, what is not? And it's super easy to go down those rabbit holes.
Well, and the upside is, especially kids our age, teenagers and college age kids, they have the cognizance to know that, right? So they at
Yeah.
least understand that and be like, now the silver lining is now you just discredit all of it. Whereas in the past,
Yeah.
you're like, wow, it's like, no, I just discredit all of it, which is tough. But, so maybe the favorite things that, we've kind of put out there, and to some of our friends who are way smarter on this than we are, is can you please give us your favorite AI certification courses so that we can
Yeah.
take these courses with certifications, so that we can offer them to our kids who are in college that maybe, they're not getting it. They're in the wrong age group to have really been trained up on it, and they're going to come out the other
Yeah.
side. So that could be a favorite thing to add on your list.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, on that note, I think we should talk about our favorite certifications. You and I have spent a lot of time as students this past year.
My gosh, totally. There are, ones that I'm kind of in the midst of right now too. So I'm going to get my fitness certification come heck or high water by the end of this year. And so that's the one that you turned me on to, ACE certification.
Yeah, it's great.
And the other one is the Girls Gone Strong Menopause Fitness Training as well as Physiology certification. And those two have been have been really great ones to add in. And then some second tier ones that I'm doing kind of because our kids asked about it are some baseline investment certifications. Like, we all think we know about the debt and the equity market, but when your teenagers start asking you about it, you're like, maybe we should have a forum to teach this with you.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about that? You've gotten some much deeper certifications.
Well, lots of medical licensing. I mean, but that's not as fun. But I did become a menopause certified practitioner with the Menopause organization this year, which was awesome. Really I think that's probably like the group to go to find menopause practitioners, and really well-resourced information that, from a physician standpoint, kind of still meets those needs of being a somewhat conservative governing body entity, maybe a little bit. And so I think in a world, especially all the talk on hormones and all of the changes that are coming along, I think as a physician, sometimes it's scary to know how close to the edge to get. How much do you want to be pushing things versus really doing no harm, et cetera? But when we know the research has been lacking, how do we catch up in a very responsible manner? And so it's been great to go through that certification and connect with that community and be part of that.
I think that's such a great thing to flag for people, because we've talked about it in prior episodes. But if your doctor is not really conversant with you about menopause, then you recommend this, menopause certification agency or association where you can look up.
So it used to be called the North American Menopause Society, and now it's just the MenopauseSociety.org. And this is really where it is kind of the most official healthcare provider certification. So you don't have to be a physician to do it, but it is designed for healthcare providers. And so if you've done that, you get their stamp of approval and you get listed in their registry. And so it does become a really great resource that, if you have a provider that you like that may be just not as knowledgeable in this, because we know that that's a huge problem, you might be able to find someone in your location that can help you navigate these conversations. Yeah. Okay. I mean, you got a lot of wine behind you. Let's talk about that. Well, that's way more fun than talking about some of this stuff.
We'll move inside the protein drinks. So, I mean, you and I are so aware of the research. Alcohol is a toxin. The community element of it, the social element we love, but it's a toxin. And so we are always trying to find ways to help dilute that somehow. Obviously people go through periods of dry January or just dry days, but sometimes you want to have a celebratory time. And, is there a way to get something that is just a little less yuck for your system, but also tastes good, right? Because I'm always tasting all the non-alcoholic stuff and it just doesn't taste good. It's like, why put that in your body anyway?
Right.
So, what a fan I am of butter. So Butter Light is what I'm calling out here, because it is a Chardonnay with 40% less alcohol, which will obviously correlate to 40% less sugar. But the low alcohol thing is the exciting thing about it. So you can have a glass of this and not feel like, yeah, it is alcohol, but it is less than. And there wasn't really a market for that in the wine space. Beers had it forever. So that's kind of cool.
Right.
Now, I know a lot of people don't like buttery Chardonnay, so I'm just bringing this as an example. Pinot Grigio. There's now Sauvignon Blanc, Pinot Grigio. There's almost every varietal, and many of the big labels are now in a low alcohol options. That is something that's worth knowing about in the celebratory season. And then these two I bring out because when I am trying to do a no alcohol period, these are my favorite celebratory drinks, the Shirley Bubbles and then Zilch. And they're both available now in grocery stores. So we just bring awareness back to those.
Awesome. Love it. Okay. Where are we on our list?
I know, me too.
Oh my gosh, we've covered so many amazing things. I think the other thing, we talk about this a lot as parents of teenagers, like our favorite things to gift our kids, like our house, we're just done with stuff.
Yes.
We're done with stuff. I'm also done with, this came to light this weekend. I think as parents or caregivers, we really put a lot of thought and emotional energy into attempting to make people around the holidays happy, especially maybe our children or those we care for. The kind of personal hurt when you've taken all this time and energy, let alone the financial parts of it, and it is met with, and I'm just like, okay, that's not fun for the person giving the gift. Obviously, you did not receive this with the same enthusiasm that was intended. So we've really gone to experiences and family experiences, you know, from no cost to we're going to plan a really great vacation. And this is part of your holiday gifting. Cause also in our house, like that was always sometimes like an extra. And I'm like, no, like this is it. So just kind of to create even awareness that like, look at all of these amazing things that we get to do every year. Part of these are going to be, we're going to like make this part of our holiday gifting and family experience.
Yeah, I love that. One of the things you reminded me of too, my mom and dad-in-law did this when we first started doing holiday exchanges with my husband's family, is we just took a year, and I wish we would repeat it, but we've got a lot of little kids. It might be hard for them to get excited and for this, but we just picked a nonprofit, right? And so we all gifted something specifically to that nonprofit. It wasn't always dollars. It was time or, you know, some kind of a service or whatever. But then it was the extended family all connected to this one cause. People kind of dialogued about what we chose and then dialogued about what we did. It felt really satisfying. And it was before we all had little kids, you know, so we were kind of the kids. We were in our 20s, and it was really meaningful. And I think that would be a fun thing to kind of get a little more organization behind as well.
Oh, I love that. And I think, you know, going to do things as a family, whether it's in nature or giving back to community or just all of those things are so nice. Like we were traveling this past weekend and there was a lot going on, a lot of the other people involved. And last night, the four of us just sat outside and like ate a pizza. You know, it wasn't like, wasn't fancy.
No.
We were still at the beach, but you know, like it was just so nice. So I think, you know, in this time of year, like one of our favorite things is like slow down, connect, and keep it simple. Like back to our, you know, the episode that we did on connecting and entertaining, like keep it simple, right? It doesn't have to be this perfectly plated holiday meal with the right decorations and courses and things like that. Like just keep it simple and enjoy the time.
Yes, I love that. I think you remind me too. I'm gonna have to look up the movie, but I just saw that it came out. It has Michelle Pfeiffer in it as the mom who does all this stuff for the holiday season, and she gets left behind as they go to the family outing, and so she just taps out of the whole holidays and does something else. It was like, I'm pretty sure every caregiver can relate to that in some way.
Absolutely, and I think, you know, I know we're almost done here. I think the last thing, and we've talked about a lot of these things, but I think is just like personal grace, you know, like I think we all, especially as midlife women, work so hard to make sure everyone else is okay. And so I think just like remember to take those few minutes for yourself and to not sacrifice everything that you're doing in the name of other people all the time. Because we actually don't even we don't show up as our best selves if we're not taking care of ourselves.
I love that. Well, this is one of my favorite things to do, is Favorite Things episode with you.
Me too. Well, thanks everybody for joining us. I'm sorry we weren't quite as festive in our ugly Christmas sweaters as we were last year, but hopefully you can enjoy some of our favorite things. And if you have your favorite things, we'd love for you to share with us. But really at the end of the day, our favorite things are connecting with all of you, connecting with each other, taking the time to sit someplace warm and feel safe and comfortable. And so we wish you all the best holiday season.
Yes, lots of holiday cheer and recharge along the way.
Thanks, everybody. Take care. We'll talk to you next time.
Thank you so much for spending your time with us here today. If you liked what you heard and you got some tips on how to live better right now and for the long haul, please help us reach more midlife women. Please share and rate and like this show. And we can't wait to continue the dialogue with you on our next episode. Until then, thank you. It's time.